Most people think they reason clearly or are smart, until you listen closely and realize they may have the IQ of a toddler with super autism. Every day in conversations, comments, and arguments, online and in person, people commit the same logical errors over and over. So I wanted to quickly explain a few of these mistakes and why they're dumb goobers. Here are 9 of the most common fallacies people use and fall for every day. Each one is a broken bridge. Spot them, and your thinking immediately becomes stronger. First up, an appeal to mass. Everyone does it / believes it, so it's fine / true. The premise, lots of people accept X, has no logical connection to the conclusion. Therefore, X is right, true, good. The majority opinion proves nothing. Slavery, witch hunts, murder, and rape were once normalized and commonly practiced. How does the number of people who believe something tell me if it's true? It's a very basic, low-tier fallacy that a surprising number of people commit. Secondly, this one is super common, but can be misunderstood easily. The ad hominem. You're just saying that because you're blank. The premise, person has trait Y, does not logically lead to the conclusion. Their claim is false, wrong. Attacking someone's character doesn't refute their position. Now I said it was easily misunderstood. Many people think an insult is an ad hom. That is not true. An ad hom is an insult, but not vice versa. An ad hominem is insulting someone without addressing their argument. If you address the argument alongside OR through the insult, then it is not fallacious. Address the person's position, not their person. Third is the slippery slope. If we allow A, then an extreme disaster will inevitably happen. The premise, A is permitted, does not logically entail the conclusion Z extreme follows, unless a proven causal chain is shown. Without that chain, it's speculation, not reasoning. A and Z are far from each other. A logical chain leading from A to Z needs to be demonstrated, not just asserted. Fourth up, the non sequitur. Exercise is good for health. You should trust this politician / buy this product. The premise, exercise is healthy, has zero logical connection to the conclusion. Trust this person. Choice. It does not follow. The bridge is completely missing. This is a simple fallacy, and basically, all fallacies are an extension of this concept, the conclusion not following from the premise. Fifth, also extremely commonly used, the appeal to emotion. You're a big meanie, so you're wrong, or it makes me feel bad. The premise, emotional appeal, does not logically prove the conclusion. The policy position is wrong. Feelings can motivate, but they do not establish truth or rightness. Your subjective state of mind has no bearing on reality. If it cannot be shown, then it means nothing in the context of logic. Sixth, the appeal to authority. Science / experts / studies say so. No specific citation. The premise, authority says X, does not logically entail the conclusion. Therefore, X is true without knowing which authority, what they said, and the evidence behind it. Authority is not a magic word. This is assuming there is some sort of consensus among scholars. It assumes these scholars don't have biases, or all have the same worldview that informs how they interpret it. These scholars have biases and presuppositions that make them ignore certain things and highlight other things they agree with. Seventh, a hasty generalization. I met 2 rude people from that city / group, so everyone there is rude. The premise, small sample, does not logically support the conclusion, universal claim. A few examples never prove a rule about all. People's behaviors are very complex. There is rarely just one reason behind the way people act. There are many correlates and reasons why people act some way, but their being in a certain group does not mean their behavior maps onto the entire group's beliefs. Eighth, the false dilemma. Either you agree with this thing or you hate this other thing. The premise pretends that only 2 options exist when more are available. Reality usually has nuance, a middle ground, or additional paths. The forced binary is illogical. Either you like pancakes over waffles or you hate pancakes. Even though pancakes are objectively better, it's a false dichotomy. Now for the 9th one, a red herring. But what about completely unrelated topic? The premise, new irrelevant point, does not address the original claim. It diverts attention. The conclusion never connects back. It's just an attempt by low-tier goobers to deflect and divert from the topic using dishonesty. When you're talking about the topic, randomly darting off the topic when you're pressed just makes you look like a Dumbo and a goober. These fallacies are not rare academic mistakes. They are daily reasoning failures. The fix is always the same question. Does the conclusion actually follow from the premise? If the answer is no, the argument is broken. No matter how confident the speaker sounds, how many people agree, or how strongly it feels. One thing I also wanted to quickly touch on is the correlation-causation fallacy. Indeed, something correlating with something else does not mean it causes that other thing. However, many goobers misuse this fallacy and claim all correlations to not be causations whenever it goes against them. The issue is that the primary correlate is the cause. I wanted to touch on this because many people don't understand this. Start catching them today. Each time you spot and correct an incoherent thought in others or in yourself, you become slightly less dumb, and maybe eventually you'll grow a brain.